I moved into a new apartment building about a month ago. It's a doorman building, and most of the doormen are really nice. I always say a pleasant, "Hi, how are you? Have a nice day or evening" to them when I leave or enter the building, but I don't stop to chat to them as I have seen some of the other residents do. One of the doormen, whose shifts coincide with my coming home from work, has this habit of trying to strike up a conversation with me as I'm almost out of the lobby and heading down the hallway to the elevator, like, he'll shout out a question to me or comment about the weather or something. I usually, pleasantly, shout back an answer and keep walking to the elevator as I'm always exhausted after work and just want to go to my apartment and relax. The other day he shouted out to me, "Come here, Miss Pretentious," so this time I turned around and walked over to the front desk and said politely, "What did you call me?" He then proceeds to say I'm pretentious and obviously think I'm better than everyone else in the building because I won't stop to talk to him or the other doormen. His tone wasn't angry or mean really, just kind of jokey, but in a condescending way. I politely explained that it's not that I think I'm better than everyone, but that I'm just really tired after work and want to go home. I also said I find it weird that he always tries to talk to me as I'm almost out of the lobby, thereby necessitating me turning around and walking back into the lobby in order to have a conversation if I wanted to. He ended by saying that I won't fit in with the culture of the building if I keep on refusing to talk with the doorman. I told him, again, politely, that I wasn't really interested in fitting in with the culture of the building and told him to have a good night, and I then walked away. Since then I have seen this doorman twice, and both times he has greeted me with, "Hello, Miss Pretentious," same jokey, condescending tone as I walk into the building. I have completely ignored him both times. I feel like I should probably talk to him and tell him I don't appreciate being called that, but honestly, I just want to report him to his supervisor as I'm getting sick of dreading walking into the building and I feel like I shouldn't have to deal with that in my own home, okay, building. So, would I be the idiot if I just go ahead and report him? I don't want to get him fired or anything, but I do want him to stop. I'm a doorman and my jaw dropped from this. And I've seen and heard a ton of crap both ways. He is in no position to name call you or tell you that you won't fit in. While it is our job to say hi and greet, I always make an effort to notice the tenants that don't like to exchange words beyond the bare minimum. So I know what to expect and we will have a similar exchange every time. I'd prefer a tenant that didn't force cheap conversation. Some don't talk at all. Some talk too much. If the balance is there, effort both ways, I don't care. Oh, I was about to say you are an idiot and say you could do it, but that would be pretentious of you. But man, if this is his behavior, then sorry, he's the idiot. I'm like the other guys in your building, I stop to talk and I strike up a convo with doormen, shop workers, etc. But I also understand that not everyone wants, can, or have the energy to do so. Not the idiot, I would tell him to either go back to the normal hi and good day or you will take it further, this is unacceptable. Not the idiot at all. I get not wanting him to be fired, but as a grown man shouldn't he expect to be reprimanded in some way for being straight up rude? My advice, record the next interaction like other users have suggested, but also record yourself politely asking him not to do it again. That way, if he continues or makes a rude comment about it, you have proof that you politely asked him to stop before pursuing any other action. No one should feel uncomfortable, especially in their own home. That building is your home. Good luck. So I'm a single dad of my 19-year-old son. He's been dating a girl from his college since the beginning of freshman year, and when he came back she asked if she could stay with me instead of her parents. I thought about it pretty deeply because I didn't really know how I felt about it at first, but I have a lot of extra space, and I figured if I said no, they'd try and see each other anyway, despite the stay-at-home orders. I've been treating it as close to a regular roommate situation as I can, although he is my son so it's not quite the same, but my house is big enough that they can keep to themselves without bothering me. And not that I've been trying to listen to their conversations, but from what I've heard they're very good for each other. They're always very happy and nice to each other, and there doesn't seem to be any conflicts. Anyway, when she first moved in her parents had a meltdown, they called me and demanded I kick her out and make her go home. I told them I wasn't going to do that and if she wants to leave she's free to. She has her own car and it's only a 45-minute drive to her hometown. They berated me over the phone a few times and then finally gave in and let her stay. Apparently, she let it slip over video chat that they've been sleeping in the same room. I don't really know what her parents expected when she moved in with him, but okay, and they called me again and demanded I separate them. I told them that again, if she wants to leave I'm not keeping her, she has the means to go home, it's not like I've locked them in the same room. And there's a third spare bedroom that she can stay in if she decides she for some reason does want to be separated. They said that I know what they're doing in there and that it's a tragedy that I'm endorsing it. From my point of view is they're both the same age, technically adults, they can serve in the military, I'm sure whatever they do in there they were doing at college. They're old enough to decide for themselves what they want to do. Am I the idiot here? I've lived with my current girlfriend in the same house with my parents for the past 9 years, since I was 20. I run a successful business and we could move out at any time if we wanted to. We haven't needed to since my parents have always respected us as adults, as you are doing so now. They love it, you gotta appreciate that your kid and the girl are so cool with having you around. Most kids that age can't wait until they get away from their parents. I love having my family around me, maybe it's a cultural thing. My mom tried to get mad at my 28-year-old oldest sister when she visited for Christmas with her then fiancé, now husband, and insisted they share the same room. Bear in mind, her next sibling with her husband and 3 kids, the next sibling and I, both still in college, also came, and we were all in a 4-bedroom townhouse with our parents and 2 youngest siblings. It's not like anyone had privacy to speak of. The sleep in separate rooms thing didn't fly. And that was in 1972. Not the idiot. Also, good on you for letting her stay. Sounds like she might have more than one motivation for asking. Not the idiot. When I was 18 or 19 I used to stay at my boyfriend's house often, and his mom was a complete control freak. We had to go to bed at 11, separate rooms, no noise. But all that did was to make it more fun sneaking around. And as soon as she left for work early in the morning we would just share a room anyway. At the end of the day, if they're gonna be doing things, they're gonna do them, no matter any rules. I'm glad she's staying with you as you seem like a normal person and a great dad. My husband and I rent a house with his brother and wife. We live in a very expensive city, and this is quite a big house with great metro access, so that's what's convenient. We get along fine usually. My husband and I have a son. He's just turned 5. The early years were the normal struggle of trying to teach basic human functioning to a kid, but now it's become so fun. During this time there were definitely low points when he wouldn't sleep, juggling work and childcare, potty training, etc. There were quite some bad days, but my husband and I got through them, and my brother-in-law and his wife have never been asked to help. Whatever their plans are at home or out, we have never asked them to change their plans or watch our kids. Recently they had their own child and are going through the newborn stage. Sis-in-law is on maternity leave and brother-in-law is working. So a few days ago, I pick up my son from school and we come home before going to a highly anticipated trip to the movies. When we get home, sister is in the living room in tears. It seems her newborn didn't sleep much and has been colicky all day. I sympathize with her and tell her that this stage will be over soon. Then my son and I leave for the movie. Today my husband told me that both my brother-in-law and his wife are angry that I didn't offer to take care of the baby for a while so she could have a break. I'm kind of shocked that I'm being asked to do something that they never have offered to do and we have never asked them to do. I feel like they should take care of their kid just like we did. Am I the idiot? No idiots here. You're not obligated to offer to help, but as someone who has been through that newborn phase, where you probably would have gratefully accepted someone watching the baby just for 30 minutes so you could take a nice bath and have a few minutes to yourself, it would have been a nice thing to offer. You all live together so sure, you can tell them good luck with the baby. That stage screws. But a small act of kindness like that probably would be good for long-term harmony. Your title says you know they're miserable, so be nice. Not the idiot. If you guys didn't live together, then what would she do? Raising kids and going through the newborn stage is something billions of people have gone through. And have done it on their own with no help. They seem to be acting like having a newborn entitles them to special treatment and free babysitting. It sounds like once you give then they will expect more and more out of you guys. Definitely not the idiot, especially since they offered you guys no help when you were going through the same rough phase. Not the idiot. I would say no idiots here if they weren't actually mad at you for this. But the fact that she didn't just ask you for help and instead got pissed that you didn't take the hint is ridiculous. That being said, not all children are the same, and not all parents are the same. You and your husband manage the stress your way. They are having a harder time coping. You don't owe them any help, just like they didn't owe you any. But gee, wouldn't it be nice to have her had? I am a student at the Sorbonne in Paris, and I am gonna spend next year abroad. Up until last week, everything went smoothly. I aced all my exams and had all my documents, the plane ticket was bought, and the only thing left to do was showing up at the university to sign a document, a mere formality, and I had an appointment. When I arrived there, though, the horribly rude clerk, C, told me my department head, DH, didn't send her a personal mail with a list of students allowed to go abroad. I had a printed document signed by the very same DH proving that I was allowed to go, and C could look it up on the UNIS server, but she said she wouldn't let me have that last document without DH's mail. I could let you have it, but if I start making exceptions, everyone will want one, and it's going to be a headache. My plane was taking off the very next day at 5 a.m., so I couldn't just come back tomorrow as C told me to. I explained that, and that I couldn't leave the country without that last document, but C didn't give a crap. We argued for a while, both getting heated up, and C told me that I needed to get the hell out because one appointment isn't supposed to take more than a couple minutes, and I was keeping other students from having theirs. I told her that I wouldn't move without my signed document. I told C to call DH, she refused, so I called DH's personal number myself and handed C the phone. I cannot touch a student's phone, it's against policy. So I put it on speakerphone. To be clear, it was in a big open space, with 10 plus admins in a row of desks filling documents, and 100 plus students waiting in line behind me and the other desks, so everyone could hear us arguing with each other, as well as the phone. On the phone, DH said that yes, I can go abroad, she forgot to send the mail, but please sign the document. C refused, said she won't make an exception, she needs that mail. DH said she will send it tomorrow morning because she was not at work, and C repeated come back tomorrow, and I retorted that I would be out of the freaking country then. At that point, we were literally screaming at each other, and everyone else, admins and students, were openly telling us to shut up and that we were bothering everyone and slowing down the whole line. Security was called, who in turn called a higher up of the unit. Upon hearing everything, the higher-up told C to just sign the stupid document, which she did without a pip. She could have done that from the very beginning and just didn't want to, so when the higher-up lectured me about making a scene, I refused to accept blame. I eventually left in a huff of rage with my document, and anger hasn't dissipated yet. Overall, the whole thing lasted over 1 hour at least. Was I an idiot? Am I an idiot for thinking no idiots here? I think both OP and the admin have ground to stand on. I imagine a variation of the situation where you are at a foreign airport going home and somebody steals your purse with your passport in it. Now you can't fly unless they make an exception for you. I'm not sure of the exact process, but I'd like to think the embassy would have to send in some paperwork to allow you to board, and it wouldn't be possible from just a phone call. Not the idiot. She didn't have to make things unnecessarily difficult, but she chose to. You had a correspondence that stated you had permission to go abroad. Could she not have photocopied that as evidence that she was not breaking any rules? Of course, she could have, but she chose not to and continued to roadblock every possible solution, speaking to the DH, can't touch students' phones. It's a bit of an exceptional circumstance. You were right to make a scene because had you not, you wouldn't be going anywhere and had your future sabotaged by an overzealous clerk. Not the idiot. Apology is appropriate, though. Should be in the form of I'm keenly sorry that I needed to make such a fuss that went through 4 layers of escalation before getting some mental clerk to complete a simple task. I'm even more apologetic that, after wasting an hour of my time, that I need to follow up again, using more of your time to further escalate the situation through the university HR department. The clerk should be reprimanded or terminated for such ridiculously poor customer service. I await your response. Background on this. I have never seen eye to eye with my mother-in-law. Mother-in-law also has a boyfriend who I don't care for either. It has been her dream to take my kids on a Disney cruise ever since they were born. We have had massive issues with her not caring about their safety. Most egregious example, she let my daughter ride on the dashboard, yes the dashboard, of her car on the highway going 80 miles per hour. Her excuse was she had so much fun. I couldn't help it. So I told her that if we could all go then maybe I would consider it. Her boyfriend's mom died last year and he got like a small $30,000 inheritance, and she talked him into spending it all on a Disney cruise for the entire family, 2 of them, husband and I, 2 kids. I am going, because everyone is excited, but I am dreading every single minute of it. I don't really like cruises, Disney is not my thing and we are going to be away from our business for about 2 weeks, so getting back is going to be a nightmare. I was packing up last night and my now 8-year-old came up to me and said, "Grandma said we are going to push you over the railing on day 1 so the rest of us can have some fun." I was like, whoa. I asked her what else she said, and it was something like when you're drowning she's going to hook daddy up with a huge black lady who isn't such a snit about bad food. I immediately went to my husband and told him I was canceling the trip. She has said things like this to my kids before, so, well, it may not be an exact retelling, I know Bella didn't make this up. My husband is begging me not to cancel because he really needs the break from work. I told him fine, we'll take a 2-week camping trip or go to the beach, but for me being around his mom will be worse than work, let alone she made a joke about murdering me. Kids are despondent that we might not go, and now guilt is getting to me. Would I be an idiot if I cancel this trip? Not the idiot. What a piece of work your mother-in-law is. You're going to have to confront his mother and he's going to have your back. I'm sure she'll say she's just kidding, but you've got to do it anyway. That being said, I don't know if backing the whole fam out is the way to go, only because I remember being a kid having so many super fun plans cancelled at the last minute because one family member was mad at the other. The cruise sounds like a nightmare to me too, so I'm on your side whatever you choose. You're not the idiot, because your mother-in-law and husband are the idiots in this. It's a massive red flag that he doesn't have your back and isn't taking on any of the burdens of canceling the trip in the children's eyes as well. It's his mom, and it's inexcusable what she said, even as a joke. The fact that he isn't mad about that is another big issue. I would be more worried about the actual foundation of your marriage rather than what's perceived than this trip. Not the idiot. But so tough though. You don't want to punish the kids and your hubs because your mother-in-law's an idiot. Go on your trip, have a great time with your immediate family. When you return, let mother-in-law know exactly how you feel and why you want not to mooch her money, but to not punish your family, and let her know you're done. It's not okay to say she was just joking, jokes like that all aren't funny in that context and to that audience. And let her know you're done and she will not have contact with you or your kids. Just my opinion.